Jocko, what's your take on false motivation versus authentic leadership?
Okay, false motivations versus authentic leadership. Now, there's two kind of ways of understanding this question. The first is from like a really heavy leadership perspective, and that is of trying to lead without actually believing in what you're doing. And that's leading without understanding why and not believing in what you're doing, and that's wrong, right? And this is in extreme ownership, of course, and we talk about it on the podcast. You can't do it. If you don't believe in what you're doing, your team's going to see that, and they won't believe in it either, which means they're not going to go above and beyond to accomplish the mission, period. So you got to believe what you're doing, and if you don't believe it, then you got to ask the question up the chain of command, find out why, understand why, so that you believe in what you're doing. And eventually you're going to get the answer, right? Eventually you're going to understand why you're doing something. You're going to believe in it. Or you're going to convince the chain of command that that's not a good method and you need to go a different direction. And there might be some rare in extremis case where you actually don't, I'm being told to do something and I don't believe in it. And I say, no, I'm not going to do it. And like Napoleon said, Napoleon's maxims, if you actually have to refuse to do it. If you don't believe it's the right thing to do, then you don't do it. That should be very in extremis, because as a leader, when we're being asked to do something or told to do something or led in a certain way, they're leading us towards victory. Right? They're leading us towards an aligned victory. If it's on the battlefield, it's winning the war. If it's in business, it's creating profit and creating a good product and growing the business, right? Those things that's what you're trying to do. So if I'm the boss and you come to me with something and say, hey, I want to do this, if it's going to make us more profitable, why would I say no? Right? So we're going to move in that direction. So from a high level, false motivation doesn't work. If you don't believe in something, it's not going to work out for you. Now, from a micro level, from like a frontline level, and the BUDS instructors used to joke about this, that false motivation is better than no motivation. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard that? Is that a common expression?
No.
False motivation is better than no motivation. Mm-hmm. And we don't want that to be true, right? Because we want motivation to be this pure golden thing that fuels performance. But the fact of the matter is, and of course we talk about all this all the time, motivation doesn't hold up, right? Motivation doesn't. How many motivated people didn't make it through SEAL training? A ton of them. They're all motivated. Ooh. How many of them didn't make it through training? A ton. Yeah. How many motivated people do you see that don't accomplish their goals that they have? Yeah. Right? The world is full of those people. There's a ton of those people. Yeah. And that's because motivation doesn't hold you up. We all know this. It's discipline that holds you up. It's discipline that gets things going, and it's discipline that gets you through things. But this is an interesting little spin. If you have the discipline to press on, why not have a little fun with it? Right? And that's where I think false motivation can come in, and it can make some things fun. For instance, it's cold, wet, and miserable, and we have to go swim over the beach and do an operation. Let's get some. Right? Sure. Or it's 118 degrees with massive humidity, and we have a 14-kilometer patrol to get to target. Let's get some. Right? Hoo-yah. Or the water is 41 degrees and we are about to launch on a 4-hour dive. Right? Hell yes. Let's do this. Right? That's false motivation. But it's backed up by discipline, and it might not be real, but it absolutely beats the hell out of, this is going to be miserable and I don't want to do it. Yeah. Right? What would you, if you and I were going to go do something that was going to suck, would you rather have me say, Echo, I really don't want to do this, but I'm disciplined, so I'm going to do it? Yeah. Or would you rather have me say, Echo, this is going to suck, let's go get some, right? You'd rather have the false motivation.
Yes, sir.
Strap on the pack and put on the mask and fins and fire up the false motivation. Get after it. Now, I will tell you this. I wouldn't even be sarcastic. with false motivation. I won't even blink, and I actually this is the difference. My false motivation isn't even false. I actually believe my own false motivation.
Yeah, if it's working, right?
And by the time stuff came out of my mouth, I meant it. I meant it. So I don't know. At some point in my childhood, false motivation turned into like an actual fuel and just regular motivation. Maybe it's because I realized that I wasn't counting on it to get me through things. I was just having fun with it. Rock and roll.
Do you think also how you like you'd always say that you were kind of into just being hardcore, and even in like normal stuff,
being
like
hardcore for sure,
whatever. So, when you think back and you're like, okay, I'm going to take the hard route or whatever, after you finish it, you kind of feel more proud of it.
For sure.
Like, do you think that played into it? Like,
yeah.
That it's like, I can be more hardcore.
For sure. For sure. Be more hardcore.
Yeah.
Like I said, like the meaning of the music hardcore when I was a kid was being hardcore. Just the actual meaning of the word. Yeah. And so, it's real easy to go from that to like, hey, I'm going to do something that sucks and I'm going to have a good time with it. I'm going to laugh about it.
Yeah.
And it is contagious.
So contagious. I'm actually not like that now. And if
would you say you're gonna like that?
No,
now?
I'm actually like that now.
Oh, okay.
Not to 100%, but in a lot of things, man. Like my daughter, she's 4. She weighs 47 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be sitting or I'll be laying on the couch, not paying attention. She'll climb up on the couch behind and jump and land. Like, what a knee drop is, right?
Yeah, atomic knee drop.
Yes.
For a while, just so you know, for a while in my house, there was no rules in my house. There was only 2 rules in my house. When my older kids were like, 7, 6, whatever, those types of ages that your daughter's out right now, but a little bit older, there was 2 rules in my house. Number 1, don't touch me when I'm eating.
Okay.
Number 2, no atomic knee drops.
Oh, dang.
Because they would do it to each other.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't mind them doing it to me, but they would atomic knee drop each other.
Yeah.
So I had to have 2 rules. And plus, I wouldn't have a lot of time to eat. And all of a sudden, it's like they want to hold on my arm. No. Get away from me when I'm eating, like a rabid dog. And it's funny, one of them, the reason that's fresh in my mind, because we were just on a trip and my kids were explaining to my youngest daughter that, well, when we were little, Dad was meaner, and he wouldn't let us touch him when he was eating like you just did.
Yeah.
And of course I said, well, that's because she's cuter than you were. All of you.
It's messed up, bro. I don't mind the atomic knee drops anymore because of you, because of the very reason like you got to be hardcore. It's because you got a 4-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Right. So
think of how fun that is for her to atomic knee drop you. Yeah.
Which is another reason why I'm like this now. So she'll climb on the couch, atomic knee drop while I'm not ready, by the way, onto my ribs. So she didn't break my ribs. She didn't injure me to any lasting degree. But if the normal mindset is like, why did you jump? Why did you do that? It hurt.
Yeah.
Let's face it, 45, 47 pounds, top of a couch, atomic knee drop, both knees, by the way, all the weight. Velocity, all that stuff, hurt by the normal standard of things. So the typical mindset, I think, would be like, don't do that, especially the shock and all this stuff. But default is just like, whatever, no factor. Yeah.
Do it harder.
And sure, it is a catch-22 because she will and does, but she thinks it's all fun and all this stuff. But that's that mindset, and that came directly from you. Like, it's like Jocko wouldn't complain about that right there. Oh, you're going to let that happen.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing if you complain to your 4-year-old daughter
you hurt
about
me.
anything.
You hurt me.
About anything.
Yeah.
Right? About anything.
I agree.
That's the setting example you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You complain about anything and you're wrong.
Agree. 1,000,000,000%.
So just suck it up.
Yeah.
Say bring it on.
Yeah.
False motivation, which becomes real motivation, which
be hardcore.
Like I said, the only sort of reason for motivation for me is just funny. Just funny. It's not going to actually get you to do anything, but just let's have fun. I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
I'm going to let the atomic knee drops happen over and over again. And so why, when I could go through life just experiencing them and accepting them, why not have some fun with the atomic knee drops and the long cold dives and the hot weather and the dehydration and the hypothermia? Why not have fun with all those things?
Yeah. And I mean, you probably know, but it's unbelievable how much that helps yourself.
You know what? I think maybe because my view of motivation is so low, that to me, it's just funny. Like false motivation is just funny. Yeah. But it is fun. Yeah. It's a fun thing.
Yeah, that's kind of part of what I mean. Okay, so the mats. I don't know if you noticed. I brought the mats in here.
Yes, I did. Whatever.
Notice. So those mats there, I think there's like 16 of them. I forget how many, but they cover a full two-car garage. Covers it perfectly. It's a lot. It's a lot of mats, and the 2-inch thick ones. So to move them, up the topography. Is that even?
So you had like some legit challenge ahead of
No, yeah, and I'm not even saying that. Here's no. Here. This is what happened.
You got after it.
So I came in, put the mats right there. Boom. One day, I don't know, whenever the other day, and then, I walked to Jade's office, my brother. He was like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here?" I was like, "Oh, just put the mats in here." He's like, "You put the mats in here? What? He goes, "What? Did someone help you with that?" I looked at him in the eye and said, "I don't need help."
Oh.
But it was a joke because that's a line from this thing.
Oh,
but the point there is just that attitude, like, no, I don't need help. No, I don't, because I'm trying to be like Jocko, fucking hardcore. I don't need help. Little kids can't hurt me. They can't make me complain. It's like that mindset. But
your mindset is changing. You are turning into a complete savage.
Bro, it's way
Little
different.
kids can't hurt you, and you can carry the mats by your own.
Yeah, and here's
by your own. That's another thing. That's another little expression I used because my son, when before he could talk well, he would want to do something. He'd say, "I do it by my own."
Right. He's trying to say by myself or on my own.
Yeah,
mixed
he'd
it.
say by my own. So
that's how, bro.
That became a thing.
Here's a legitimate one that just changed. It changed this specific thing where how I'd be the kind, if I didn't get enough sleep, I'd let it ruin me mentally. So if I didn't have something specific important to do, so just throughout the day, I'm tired, whatever. So now I never admit that I'm tired.
Yeah,
ever.
that's a great starting place.
Yeah, even to myself.
I've explained that to my son. Is you just don't admit ever that. Don't let those words come out of your mouth.
Yeah,
I'm tired. I'm sore. I'm whatever. Just stop. Because when you get in the teams, that's just putting up a red flag of being a complete pansy. Don't do it.
I know, bro.
Don't do it. As a matter of fact, you know what's jacked up is like I won't even. Let's say you and I were to go out. Let's say it was wintertime and you and I were to go out. And I had a sweatshirt with me because I knew it might get cold. Right. But we're out already, and I have the sweatshirt in my hands.
You can't put it on.
I won't even put it on.
You can't.
You can't put it on.
Yeah.
Because then you might say, were you cold?
I'm cold. I need some warmth, please. Yeah. Oh, dang, that's a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna do that too. Or should I say not do that?
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know. Remember that time? I think I told this story before. Remember the time we were driving from LA? It was like late at night. And you're like, yeah, I know I'm this big bad team guy or whatever, but I'm kind of tired right now. And then almost like it was painful to let the words out of your mouth. Like you let them slip and it really hurt you. So it was like maybe 3 seconds later. You said, but fuck it, I'll just drive to Montana if I have to right now. I'll just get in the mode. That's okay.
I'll go in a team guy mode.
You can be tired, bro. I won't tell nobody.
I was tired yesterday. I was driving. And my wife says, like, oh, you haven't been sleeping much. Are you okay to drive? I was like, yeah. Yeah. And I did the same thing. I was kind of like, well, I'm super tired. I can drive indefinitely.
Yeah. I don't know, though. I don't know. Maybe you're different. Maybe not. But that's dangerous,
actually,
bro.
No, I don't encourage people doing that.
Yeah.
I don't encourage it. That's a horrible thing to do is drive when you're super tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Bro, on Kauai, it's happened here before, but on Kauai, it's really boring to drive because it's so easy. It's just so like you don't. So when you get like tired or sleepy or whatever, it's really easy to just fall asleep. Super easy, and that's hard because you can't control it. It's like you think you can I can control it, and sure there is little tactics like you can do little things that inflict pain on yourself, whatever. But man, it's really hard to control, and once you fall asleep, don't do that.
Don't do that. You wake up in a bridge embankment, just dead.
Or wake up dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's not good.
I was reading this thing on motivation, and it said in this book, I'm not saying that this is true or not true, but it said, it made sense, where motivation, people misuse the word motivation, and they confuse it with inspiration. So inspiration is like when someone gets you all revved up to do something, right? It's like what you're saying, like, well, let's do this, or you see a mansion, now you're inspired to work hard for stuff or whatever.
Okay.
Listen to some speech, some quote unquote motivational speech. It inspires you. It doesn't motivate you. Motivation is your bare raw motive, the motive for you doing it. So let's say, I feel like I said this before, but let's say I want to get in shape. You know how girls will get in shape for their wedding? That's the motive, is to be in shape for the wedding.
Okay.
So that doesn't go away. So she's not necessarily inspired, meaning she's like, she got infused with some feeling, of,
But you just said motivation wouldn't go away, but it would.
Well, no. Here's the thing.
The
The
only thing that's
motive
going
is
to get
still
her
there.
is discipline.
Yeah,
Because
agree.
the motivation is she wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go get a workout in before she goes to work.
Right.
It's real easy to just be like, you know what, I'm not feeling motivated today.
Right.
Maybe I'll just get the wedding dress, let out a little bit.
Yeah, but that just means that the motive isn't strong enough to overcome her feelings or lack of inspiration.
That's why I don't rely on it.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to find a motivation that's strong enough to make you do the things that you have to do all the time. You can't. It doesn't exist.
It depends. It just depends. So consider a
Doesn't
fighter.
depend. Stop.
Consider a fighter with a fight. He has to make weight.
Bro.
Yeah, you're right. Guys don't make weight.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
Guys don't make weight all the time.
That's what I'm saying though. The motive.
And
just
you know what?
wasn't strong enough.
You know when that motivation failed? That motivation failed, 5 weeks ago when they
Five Guys Burgers.
Yeah, they had a Five Guys Burgers.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
So the discipline holds the line.
Yeah, it does totally.
Now you can have fun with it,
and you can be motivated to have discipline.
And you can say, like Pete Robbins from Origin Geese. I was up with him in Maine, and he's like got a bet to lose weight.
Yeah.
And he hit me with some false motivation because we were out, and I was ordering big steak and just getting after the grub.
Sure.
And I said, like, how many more pounds do you have? We're talking about it. I was like, does it kind of suck to sit here? He's like, no, I actually enjoy watching you eat delicious food.
There you go.
Little false motivation coming at you, but in a funny way.
Yeah.
And instead of letting it out like that, instead of being just miserable, why not just have some fun with it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my advice.
Yeah, fully. But then the difference, though, like I said, I agree. You're right. I mean, the point I was maybe making was just the technical difference between motivation and inspiration. You know how it's
Can we not talk about that?
You
on this
motivate.
podcast?
No, right? You gotta know. You gotta know this.
No,
stuff.
because both those words just don't do
they're
much
flimsy.
for me. They're flimsy. They're weak.
Gotcha. Yeah,
they're weak words, and they're weak, and the actual subjects are weak. Inspiration, motivation,
Inspiration,
it's not gonna get you there.
Come on, bro.
It might get you through the first 3 minutes of you and I were just talking before you came in here. You said there was moments in your workout today when you could have easily, or yesterday you could have easily called it. Like, hey man, I'm sweating, I got a good workout, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You held the line.
Yes. Discipline. It was. Actually, I created false motivation. Just truth be told, you're right, but I've created false motivation for myself. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Actually, it's the way for me to facilitate discipline for myself. Is I want to do this because I'm gonna feel better afterwards.
Oh yes.
That whole deal.
You're talking about discipline.
And then you contrast it with how junk I'm gonna feel if I don't. Weak, embarrassed for myself, by the way. And when I said that, how a workout has many opportunities to stop.
Yeah.
So the first opportunity is in the parking lot. In this case, I went to a gym. So
bro, if you walk away when you're in the parking lot, you got issues.
Bro, I've done that. I've done that like 4 times in my life.
You have to admit that on the podcast. You should just lie.
Nonetheless, it makes this current story
significant.
more significant. So boom, that's the first opportunity. Second opportunity is before you warm up, which is pretty close to the first opportunity.
God.
Before you warm up.
Have you ever quit then?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Twice.
Jeez.
One time it felt real good because I justified it very effectively, and the second time I was like, I just got to get after it tomorrow, whatever. Nonetheless, then it's after the first body part or the first sort of you have I'm gonna do Metcon first, or I'm gonna do squats first, or it's after the first exercise or body part.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one opportunity.
To me, the biggest hurdle is getting there. Which is when you have your gym at your house. That hurdle's gone.
I agree that it gets easier to hold the line for sure after you start. But there's a part at the end. You know how you just said you like to do your Metcon
Lately,
afterwards?
No, lately I've been doing Metcon before and lifting heavy afterwards.
Right. Yeah, that's what I
Which
meant.
is strange. But you're right. I could say, you know what, that Metcon was a little bit heavy.
Yeah,
so
it was
maybe I'll
hard.
just call it good on the heavy part.
Yeah, exactly right.
But man, I feel so good when I'm all loosened up.
Yeah. Yeah. So same deal with me. And I, every opportunity to quit was passed, was waived.
Well done, Echo Charlie.
Yeah, man.